Gather to remember the sacrifices of Australians in World War I and other conflicts from a population of fewer than 5 million. 416,809 men enlisted to fight in World War I. Of these, over 60,000 were killed, 156,000 wounded, gassed, or taken prisoner. In the iconic Gallipoli campaign, there were 26,111 Australian casualties, including 8,141 deaths. Lest we forget, we gather to remember the quintessential Australian character, the best version of ourselves. The Anzacs displayed the spirit of mateship, those that stood by their friends when the going got tough. Lest we forget that war makes monsters of decent men and asks them to forsake their commitment to one of the 10 commandments, thou shalt not kill. Lest we forget that only the dead have seen the end of war, that the soldiers that survived continued to suffer from hideous injuries as well as post-traumatic stress disorder and drug addiction. This would plague them for the rest of their lives. Lest we forget the First Nations people who were not citizens in the land that they were custodians of a time from immemorial, fought and died for Australia, that they continued to be discriminated against when they returned. They couldn't apply for land under the soldier settlement schemes, or didn't even have a drink with their fellow soldiers at their local pub. Lest we forget the grief of the mothers, sisters, wives, family and friends in all the communities around Australia and the world touched by war. Lest we forget that war should be avoided, that our leaders should not lightly send men to kill and die, that we should commit to resolve our disputes peacefully. Lest we forget how we should honour the sacrifice of the brave Anzacs that have given their lives for us. I propose that we honour the Anzacs by living in a way that is worthy of their sacrifice. Let us find a good purpose or goal in our lives and work to make it come true. Let it be useful. Let us remember to treat each other with respect, even when someone annoys us. Let us remember to be kind and generous. Let us remember that it is okay to make mistakes. Let us remember to pick ourselves up and try again. Let us encourage one another to do good, and let us remember every day to do something to make the world better in some small way, lest we forget. Cadet Corporal Zachevich to read a tribute to Anzac Day.
Thank you, Braxton. With their hair a little wiser and their step not quite so sure, still they marched on as proudly as they did the year before. Theirs were the hands that saved us, their courage showed the way. Their lives laid down for us that we may live today. From Gallipoli's rugged hillsides to the sands of Alamein, on rolling seas and skies those memories will remain. Of airmen and the sailors of Lone Pine and Silver Bay, the boys of the Dardanelles are remembered on this day. They fought their way through jungles, blood-soaked desert sands. They still remember the comrades who rest in foreign lands. They remember the siege of Old Tobruk and the mud of the Kokoda Trail. Some paid the supreme sacrifice with courage that would not fail. To the icy lands of Korea and the steamy jungle lands of Vietnam, to the heroic battle of Cap Yon and the epic victory of Long Tan. Fathers, sons and brothers, together they fought and died, that we may live in peace together while at home their mothers cry. When that final bugle calls them across that great divide, those comrades will be waiting when they reach the other side. Poem from Ken Bunker.